Hi, I'm Lydell with Computersci Electronics, and I will be showing you how to mount a TV on the wall as a do-it-yourself project. The things you will need for this project is, of course, the TV. You will need a TV mount kit, which pretty much comes with the wall mount and the bracket and the screws. You will need a drill, preferably a cordless drill. You will also need a drill bit that's a Phillips head, maybe a flat head, depending on the screws that you will be using. You will also need a 1/2 inch hole bit. I call it a hole bit. It's like a drill bit that's got like it's for making holes in the walls. Or you can use a hole saw that attached to a drill. You will also need a extension cord, preferably 6 feet. You can get it from 12 to 15 feet. You will need HDMI cables, RCA cables, and probably USB cables that will pretty much attach to the TV. Depends on your preference on what you're going to be using, what type of device you're going to be using to attach to the TV or connect to the TV. Also, you will probably need wall spackle or what they call it, the wall spackle or caulking, with a caulking gun. Couldn't think for a minute there. But that is pretty much, I think, all you would need for this project. So let's get started. Here's a room that I plan to mount a 32-inch TV to the wall. I have already installed the shelf in which the cable box or DVD or whatever you may have it that will sit on to connect to the TV. On the wall, I have already pretty much searched and found the studs, and we have 3 studs that sit in the center of this wall. It is very crucial that you determine the studs in the wall because you want to put the mount on a stud. You don't want to mount the TV mount onto a hollow sheetrock section of the wall where there's no stud, because the TV may fall eventually. There's a very good possibility the TV may fall. Here's a stud finder, and this is what you would need to find the studs on the wall. The way the stud finder works is that you want to place it against the wall. You have pretty much Velcro material that will make it easier to slide along the wall, and you want to initiate the stud finder. As you move it, the stud finder will find the studs. That's the beginning of the stud, there's the end of the stud. Here's the center of the stud. As you can see, I have marked the wall already where the stud has been found here. And you go on over there where you can see you have your second stud. And finally, there's your third stud. You want to find as many studs within the approximate area that you want to mount your TV, so that you will have your options to pretty much put the mount on either stud, or if you have a very wide TV mount, you can mount it to 2 or 3 studs. Since I will be using a ultra thin slim wall mount, this particular wall mount is very low profile and will only reach to be mounted on 1 stud. Okay, here's your wall mount. I've taken it out the box, and it comes with screws, come with wall anchors, which you can use these to mount to sheetrock where there is no present studs, but I don't trust that, so I always mount my TVs to a stud. It comes with a leveler, which is very important. This little portable leveler will sit on top of the mount so that you can make sure that it's straight. Most likely these screws here with the point that has the sharp point at the end are the ones that's going to go into the wall and go into the stud to mount the mount. If you are not experienced at mounting TV mounts to the wall, you will need to get a drill bit that would be a size smaller than the diameter of this screw. That way you can start your hole, drill it straight through the wall, the stud right there in the middle, take the drill bit and drill it straight through the middle of this marking here where the stud is located, and it will pretty much give you an easier way to drive the screws through the stud by having a smaller drill bit and drill your pilot hole first. If you do not have a drill bit, or you don't want to spend the money into buying a drill bit kit or a drill bit set, you can use a screw similar to this. This is very long, so I will be using this particular screw to make my pilot hole that'll go all the way through the sheetrock and the stud. Okay. Okay, there you have it. My hole has been drilled and it's ready for the mount to go up. If you do not have a drill that is strong enough, you will want to go and get yourself a ratchet and a socket. This way you will be able to hand tighten your screw into the wall. It is a good idea to go ahead and run this screw its course through the stud. Once you have gotten the screw halfway into the wall, you can go ahead and back the screw back out. And now you're ready to pretty much screw in your mount. It is always good practice to use washers when you're screwing in a TV mount. So washers are included, you need to use them. This will help secure the bracket. At this point, it is not necessarily a good idea to use the leveler at this point because you're only putting in one screw. This is pretty much how the leveler will sit. Sit dead center of the bracket so that you can pretty much level it out. But like I said, at this point, you don't need to do that because it's going to swivel anyway with one screw. You will need to use a leveler when you go in to put in the second screw. At this stage of putting the mount on the wall, you don't want to tighten the screw really tight. Just leave a little bit of room so that you can swivel this mount and level it just right. For the second screw, which will go here. When using a leveler, usually a standard leveler is pretty much bigger than this, but since I don't have one, I have to use what's provided. You want to get this leveler as close to the center of this bracket as possible. So that way, you will be able to level it out very close to where it needs to be. And right now, it looks like it's pretty much level where it needs to be. So now I'm going to start my pilot hole for the second screw. Now it's time to put in the second screw. Make sure you keep the leveler in place so that you know it stays level at all times while you're doing any type of movement with the screw. Oh, level will just popped off. Well, we're going to keep going. We'll put the leveler back up there after we finish putting the screw in. Once you have both screws nearly all the way in, once you're near tightening the screws and then the mount is pretty much level, as you can see with the leveler, it's pretty much level. Go ahead and tighten both screws all the way down to the mount. This will lock your bracket, your TV mount in place. And please forgive me for all the motion and all the vibration, but I'm doing the work with one hand and holding the phone and camera in the other hand. Okay, this is pretty much sturdy, ready to go. It's on the mount. The mount is on the wall and the screws are in the stud. Now, to the TV. Generally, 7 times out of 10, the screws that come with the mount will also mount the brackets in the back of the TV. So these are the brackets that will go back to the TV, but in this case I have a small 32-inch and these screws that are included are too big. So let's move on to making the holes for the wiring that will go behind the wall. Essentially, you will want to make sure that your holes will be drilled outside on either side of the stud. We know that there is a stud here, running here. So we either want to put our hole over here or our hole over here. In this case, the wall outlet is to the left of the mount. So we want to get our hole as close to the wall outlet as possible. So we're going to drill our hole to this side of the stud, and it'll run down the wall here and bring the drop cord to the outlet here. You would really need to get a drill bit similar to this. I think these are called a hole bit. Whatever the case, you may want to get you one that's 1/2 inch at least. This is not a 1/2 inch, but I can make this do and make it work because I can make the hole bigger with this. To round out your hole and make it big, similar to what I just did. Now let's move to the next hole that we need to make. Since we have a wall mounted shelf here where the cable box is going to sit, which is here, we will need to make a hole that will allow the wiring to come from here and come out here, which will allow connection for the cable box here. Then we would drill another hole that will allow the power cord for the TV and the power cord for the cable box to come out here, go over here, and then come out down there. So let's drill our second hole. Let me change out this battery. Okay, now we have our second hole drill, and as you can see, this hole travels straight down in between the studs and line up with each other. When feeding your cables, this is the HDMI cord. Feeding your cord down through the hole, you want to kind of make sure that it's enough length to go down, and make sure it's kind of curvy, so it'll kind of pretty much be able to, you'll be able to grip it from this hole. And what you generally want to do is get your flashlight and a pair of needle nose pliers, so you can kind of put it through the hole and grab the wire. Okay, once you have pretty much fished for the wire and you get a grip of it with the needle nose, you want to just pull it on through. There you have it. There you go. Pull your slack on up to where you need it to be so that it don't fall back through the wall. Okay. This is a final hole at the very bottom near the outlet where the cord is going to plug up to the outlet. Here I have already ran the power cord in the hole above the shelf. This is our second hole. Let me get this cord all the way down here. Okay, look like we're working with something here. All right. Okay, now it's time to try to attempt to grip this cord. I can feel it. We have it. Okay. Make sure there's enough to plug in there. Okay. There we are. Now we have a power cord plugged up. The power cord, which is here. This is where our cable box. And we're going to plug the TV to the back side of this, which will come up this hole as well. And the power cord runs down behind the wall and into the outlet. Okay, so let me back out so you get a good view of what we got going on. We have a hole for the mount, we have a hole for the shelf, and a hole for the outlet, 3 holes. Okay, now on to the TV. Here's an Emerson 32-inch LCD flat screen TV that we're going to be putting the brackets on the back of to mount to the wall. Okay, I have unboxed the Emerson TV, and here we have our brackets. This is pretty much how we want to set our brackets up on this particular TV. Not all TVs are the same. So the brackets are going to pretty much sit somewhat similar to this. All right, with this particular TV, the bolts that came into the bracket, that came in with the bracket kit, does not fit this particular TV. As you can see, they're very small holes on the back of the TV, which is actually M4. Went to Home Depot and got some more bolts or screws, and they're M4 by 20 millimeter. These are the ones that would fit on the back of this TV. So let's mount our brackets on the back of the TV. Okay, I have mounted the brackets on the back of the TV. As you can see, I cleaned it off. I don't know if you noticed earlier, it was dusty, but I cleaned it off so that you can get a clear view of how these screws or bolts are supposed to mount into the back of the TV with the brackets. Now we're going to just hang the TV just to give you an idea on what it should look like once you hang it on the mount. Okay, as you can see, I have hung the TV on the mount. I haven't attached any wires or anything simply because I want to get an idea of how it would look, make sure that it's straight and it is centered, and make sure that it is hung properly. Now I'm going to take the power wire from the back of the TV and run it down the wall to plug into the outlet. Now, it is always pretty much majority of the time a good practice to go ahead and have your shelf already mounted on the wall like I did so here, so that way you can rest the TV on in order to run your wire. This will help a lot when you're trying to run the power cord down through the wall into the receptacle. Okay, now let's see, we're going to take a power cord. See if we can get this thing up in here. Let's see what we got. Looks like I'm gonna have to make this hole a tad bit bigger. Let me get something to make it bigger. When going back after the fact to make this hole bigger, make sure you don't hit the wires that's already ran. Kind of go up away from the wires. Now let's see if this will go in here. There we go. Running it on down. Okay. There. Now, once you have this wire started, it is now a good time to go ahead and connect your HDMI wire or whatever other wires you have coming out the hole for the back of the TV, because you're going to need this extra slack to go all the way down to the plug, the outlet. So let's go ahead and mount the TV. Attach the cables. Hold on one second. Let's see what we got here. Need some more slack from the HDMI cord. So, just enough to get to the HDMI port. Most of the time, majority of the time, you want to hook this up in HDMI 1 so that you already know where you need to tune your selection to for the HDMI ports. Okay, now we got the TV on the mount. As you can see, we can lean it and tilt it. And while you're leaning and tilting it, you want to go ahead and start pulling your cords to remove some of the slack from behind the TV. Let's see what we got here. Also, go ahead and continue to run your power cord down the wall to the next hole so that you may be able to use your needle nose pliers to grip it. Okay, now, where's my needle nose? Here they are. Alright, let's see if we can find this power cord for the TV. Sometimes you got to stick your finger in there to see if you can feel and get an idea on where this cord might be. I think I felt it. So it should be right about up in here. Can't grip it as of yet. Let's see if we can get some light to shine down in there. Okay, it looks like it's sitting way too far back. There we go. With a little light helps to see, and I have gripped it. Now you pull this on through. There. Now, as stated before, we're going to go ahead and plug this in on the back side of this extension cord. Okay. Push the excess slack back into the wall. So there, you have your outlet for your cable box, DVR, DVD, whatever the case may be. All right, and then you also have your HDMI cord that will go to the cable box as well. As you can see, the power light is on for the TV because it's already pretty much plugged in. All right, let's give it a little power and just check it out, make sure this TV is good before we go any farther, because we don't want the TV to be bad and have to end up taking it down. Yep. Screen is good, and there you have it. So far, so good. All right, now all you do is pretty much put your cable box, DVD or DVR on top of your shelf here. Hook up your HDMI cord or your RCA jacks, whatever you ran down to the wall. And this task is pretty much complete. As you can see, all we're ready for now is to clean up the dust, and we're done. Now that this project is complete and everything is done, if you decide that you want to go ahead and seal the holes up so that no bugs or anything can come through, you can either use caulk or sheetrock wall spackle to seal the holes and just let the cords come out through the caulk or the spackle. Or you can make those 3 holes bigger. Like for instance, you can take a standard wall receptacle plate, and most of the time the receptacle plates come with the HDMI port, maybe RCA ports or USB ports. Cut you out a hole big enough to run your wires through, connect the wires to the receptacle wall plate, and then screw the plate over the hole onto the sheetrock. Same thing with behind the TV, you can do that as well. Down here it's kind of pointless to do that because you need a power outlet. So you can just pretty much seal that up with silicone, caulk, or wall spackle. I hope you found this video informative and you got a good idea on how to do it yourself as far as mounting a TV on the wall. Thank you for looking, thank you for listening, thank you for participating. Thank you.